excited now. We are on the road to plant the first 1,000 trees for the CorcoCoin experiment.
Meet Dave, entrepreneur, public speaker, and thinker of compelling ideas to change the way we live. This is Dave, meeting the Queen. He's also been living part-time in a Sussex wood for the past 3 years.
And it was here that he came up with the idea of CorcoCoin, where we can invest as little as this and turn it into 1 trillion of these.
Trees, the green lungs of our planet. They take in CO2 and give us oxygen in return, but humans are putting them at risk. We've all seen the devastating pictures on social media and the news. Some estimates reckon that we've cut down 50% of the world's trees within the last 100 years, and it's only getting worse.
An area of Amazon rainforest roughly the size of a football pitch is now being cleared every minute.
All this, added to our globalised lifestyles and economies, has meant we are coming to the end of our carbon budget. Some estimates claim we'll go beyond the IPCC's limit of 1.5 degrees of warming within 5 years.
So I didn't actually know that much about carbon budgets, but I've been doing some simple maths. We've got 350 gigatons left. That equates to 350 billion. So we divide that by 8 billion people that are on the planet. We've got about 43.75 tons left. Now, I've just been doing some carbon calculation of my own. I used between 3 and 5 tons just living my normal life. I'm vegan, don't have a car, try and cycle as much as I can. We have a 100% renewable electricity at home, but I do fly a lot, and that's potentially emitting double, if not triple, what I use at home. So you can see, with my flying, I'm severely in the red, and I'll probably have blown that budget, and this budget here that we're talking about, in less than 3 years. There's this carbon countdown clock here of how much we've spent, and you can see it's ticking down fairly quickly. It says here 16 years, but I've heard a lot less. So obviously my lifestyle has to drastically change, but I want to know what else I can do, or in fact we can do, to slow this climate crisis. Turns out these humble beings are the best way to capture carbon. We've already got lots of them on the planet, there's 3 trillion of them actually, but planting another trillion could take out 2/3 of the CO2 already in our atmosphere, without having to knock down any houses or invade farms. They're cheap, easy to manage, and the best thing about it is that you can make money from them while they're still in the ground.
So I and some other volunteers teamed up with Dave and drove up to Scotland to help him with the first 1,000 trees that people have paid him to plant.
Scotland is wild in a way that England really isn't, and it is good for the soul, very good for the soul. But it'll feel even better when we're in the fields, working with our hands for about 20 minutes until we get knackered. Can we do 1,000 trees in a day? I really have no idea, but we're going to know very soon.
Hey, how you doing?
You look very lonely, mate.
I am at the moment.
Are ya?
Yeah, everybody's on their way though.
The bloke in a sports jacket is Jim. He's the landowner up here in Scotland. He's also a founder and investor of multiple companies, including one taking on Canada for the king of maple syrup. Birch syrup. He's also a champion fell runner. His land spans 174 hectares of the North Ayrshire countryside near Glasgow, and this is where we'll be planting the first trees for Dave's project.
Yeah, these are the little guys. This might be the first of 1 trillion trees. It is squelchy out in here. That goes in there. There we go. Job done.
How does it feel, Dave, to get the first tree in?
I mean, 1,000 seems like quite a lot now, but we'll see how we go. Em's collecting the data, doing a good job.
As opposed to other tree planting schemes that cost far less, your £10 will buy you a tree that is recorded and stored using blockchain technology, and it's yours to keep for 60 years. You can easily track its progress and harness its power of carbon sequester, which increases incrementally year on year. You can even visit it and give it a hug to say thanks if you like.
So we're taking photos of the trees, and then we're just literally marking them up and writing number 4 on there. And we've got the geolocation data, hopefully in the metadata of the photo. And so, yeah, we think that the most important thing is for you to know that this is your tree and it's in this field. We'll get better at this, but yeah, it's good to know good to know the reality of the situation.
The saplings we were planting were less than a year old, so they don't look like much right now, but they won't take long to get going.
We have to put these to keep the voles away, and hopefully in 20 years it'll be bigger than those trees behind you, but it'll be as big as those conifers up there.
So after a few hours work, I went for a walk with Dave and Jim to find out a little bit more about CorcoCoin and the idea behind the project.
Dave, thank you for inviting me along to help you plant some trees today. It's been fantastic. So what I want to know is how CorcoCoin is going to help, number one, save the planet, and two, make money while doing it.
Fundamentally, the thing I love about trees is they're so trustworthy and they're such good technology. They capture carbon, they grow themselves, they do a great job, they look great, they smell great, we can use them to make furniture, we can grow food from them, we can do so many great things with trees. But the idea with the CorcoCoin is that if we place an economic value against those trees, you can own this tree, you can actually have an investment in this good technology, and as that carbon gets captured, you can collect it for yourself or sell it on to somebody else. I think it allows people to deepen their relationship, not just to give a bit and feel that they've done their job. We need to plant 1 trillion trees to add another 200 gigatons to our carbon budget to really help us stop boiling ourselves on this planet. And that'll only really happen, in my opinion, through economics, not just through people giving a bit here and there.
And it's not just the investors of the carbon market, as Dave puts it, that stand to make a return. He wants it to be an attractive prospect for the landowners, and this is where Jim comes in.
So Jim, talk to us about what you're planning to do here, because there's a name for it. Is it agroforestry?
Yeah, agroforestry or regenerative agroforestry.
As the name suggests, this is where traditional agriculture meets forestry. The trees grow, and from that, the land regenerates, the soil's maintained, which in turn makes the land work for growing and grazing. It also means we can capture more carbon, but it needs to be scaled, and the only way to do that is to make the land more profitable.
If we're going to scale up these solutions to climate change, they have to be economically viable. We see some great organisations, particularly up in Scotland, where they're planting lots of trees, but they're doing it with charity. And that's all well and good, but it prevents you growing really quickly. If you can show that you've got a profitable model for doing tree planting and regenerative agriculture underneath it, then you can plant up huge swathes of land very, very quickly because investors get interested.
And 174 hectares is just the start.
And how big are we talking? Because you want to buy an area of land which is how many times bigger than this?
I want to look at areas of land starting at 10,000 acres, so 20 times this, 20 times this as the next step, but that's not it. Beyond that, we want to go to hundreds of thousands of acres.
Where's the potential in, say, for the UK? You know, obviously, we've just had an election. They were talking in their manifestos about planting trillions of trees. You know, is that just the tip of the iceberg, pardon the pun, or is it, you know, the potential's far more than that?
I think it is. I mean, what did Ethiopia plant? I forget what it was, something like 50 million trees in a day.
Actually, it was 350 million in a day.
It's very easy for us to plant a lot of trees. We just don't have the will, whether that's political or whether that's down to individuals. You know, it's difficult to say, to purely park that at a politician's door. If the individual will is there, the politicians will be driven by that. People planting trees themselves in their own garden, in their city spaces, we need that. We need good vehicles like CorcoCoin that look at things and go, this is an easy thing to understand, this is easy to explain, and people get that and people back it. And we need people to also look at their carbon footprint and say, actually, this is my carbon footprint and I want to offset that amount of carbon. So we need every different tool there is in the box to get this stuff working, and we need to do them quickly.
As the day came to a close and we were contemplating that congratulatory pint, I pondered the powerful potential and was keen to hear where Dave thought it could go.
I've done the tech journey where you raise investment and then you try and deliver against big visions, and okay, the world needs 1 trillion trees, but you know, that is the goal, I guess. That is the focus, but really we're just doing one day at a time. Let's just plant these, enjoy doing this, sell these, make sure we do it well, do the next one, and then see if we can carry on.
There are still some trees left, and Dave will be rolling out more experiments across the globe.
I mean, we sold 800 of the first 1,000 trees. We've still got 200 that are ready to go, and over the next few months we're hoping to do 5 experiments, all at about 1,000 trees. So the second one will be in Sussex, on the estate that I've been on. The third one will be in Melbourne.
Australia.
In Australia, yeah. And the fourth one probably will be outside LA. And that's an interesting one because they've had wildfires there. So people in this next 6 months should really only invest if they are up for being part of the journey, rolling with the punches and seeing how we go.
It's been great fun planting the trees, meeting new people, and I feel privileged to be a part of the journey. So, Dave, it's a bright future.
We'll see.
Like Dave said, this could be the start of what will hopefully be a long and successful journey, using the magical power of trees to offset some of the damage that we've already done to the planet, with a sustainable economic model behind it. This is not something that just you and I can get behind, but this is hopefully something that governments and bigger organisations can get behind as well and support well into the future. If you'd like to plant a tree or two, there's still some left, like I mentioned earlier, and I'll leave some links in the description on the carbon calculator and how you can learn a little bit more about CorcoCoin.